listening on the airwaves and texting us at 916-339-1140. Jared McCain. Sounds like it's a good name. Jared McCain. It's a solid name.
Is that a good name for a future Sacramento King?
I think it could be.
Jared
McCain. Oh, yes, okay. Born right here, folks.
He's one of our own.
In Sacramento, California. But I think ended up, I know he went to Centennial High. I think that's in Southern California.
Yeah, SoCal. He left after, I think, grade school.
He's the opposite of Jason.
Spy.
But this is it's his hometown,
yeah.
Sacramento. That would be rather fun. Jared McCain is a kind of 1-2/6'3", 20 years old, out of Duke. The strengths on him, according to various reports, great competitor, kind of a combo guard, very, very good shooter.
Yeah, hit some good numbers yesterday at the Combine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, hey, not for nothing, I know this isn't his day, and I know he'll have his own, but pretty glowing reviews of Zach Edey at that Combine as well, especially from outside. Obviously not being guarded.
Could work on his running for him.
I think when you're 7'4", 500 pounds or whatever. Yeah.
500.
However the hell tall he is, man. Zach.
Just move your arms.
I know. I know we're doing Jared McCain here, but
hello.
Is Zach Edey the most intriguing prospect in the draft? Am I overstating that? I don't know. On one hand, I'm like, hold on. He's 7'4", 300 with touch, and was the 2-time consensus college basketball player of the year. And college basketball is effectively along with the G League, the minor leagues of the NBA. Why wouldn't at least some of, maybe he's not going to be an MVP, but why wouldn't some of that translate to the NBA?
He's the classic case, because I could, if we do a profile on him, I could see what the cons are. Get him in a pick and roll, get a guard, get a switch, and he's guarding De'Aaron Fox out on the perimeter. Good luck. Well, yeah, sure. But also, he's going to rebound.
Right.
He probably will score in the paint. He'll get a lot of gimmies.
He'll block shots.
He'll block some shots. Is he about what he can't do or what he can do? And that's sometimes we get caught up too much in what people can't do, and there's not a perfect player out there.
And that's where I'm obsessed with the scouting reports and scouts, because you look at the numbers he's putting up, and it's what is it that all these scouts know? Because just pure numbers wise, I'm just talking numbers. Zach Edey should be the consensus number 1 pick in the draft.
From numbers, yeah, but here's a good example from the finals. He plays against Connecticut, plays Donovan Clingan, who is now stretch and measurables are all very good, but he can move really well.
Right.
He's probably more athletic, could probably switch on different guys, and you see him in mock drafts in the lottery.
Right.
And so you just go, okay, but he's just getting better and better seemingly, where Edey's played several years. He's also improving. But, I think there's a spot for both those guys.
So Donovan Clingan is a consensus top 10 lottery pick.
Yeah.
Zach Edey is all the way from low lottery to second rounder.
Yeah.
Zach Edey had 37 points and 10 rebounds and 2 blocks against Donovan Clingan. So I'm not saying the scouts are wrong, which, by the way, they could be. But it's a pretty wide consensus and I get it. I understand that for everybody that translates from college to the pros, there is 17 Tyler Hansbroughs, Luka Garzas, Sean Mays, Cherokee Parkses, Christian Leitners that were college studs. And then you've got the guy out of college. It's he's a freshman. He's 17 years old. He averaged 8 points, 3 boards, and 1 assist, and he goes number 3. And he ends up having a great career.
Yeah.
So, what is it about Edey that you're able to quantify that you think won't translate over to the pros in a lottery pick style, especially in a down draft, where another thing we talked about the other day was that the number 1 pick in the draft this year rates out to be in the average draft the 7th or 8th pick. Alex Sarr would go an average of 7 to 8 based on his scores against the average draft over like the last 20 years, which I thought was rather interesting. But it's all such a damn crapshoot. Back to Jared. Concerns Jason. Will he be able to find his own shot at the basket? And he's probably he's less of a point guard, more of a shooting guard, but he's 6'3".
Yeah, so the size could be a concern. I mean, again, now we're listing what other people are suggesting as positives and negatives. But if you think about Kings, and I would say looking at Kings trends, floor spacers, spacing, shooting has always been a premium for Monty and his front office. I wouldn't say guard is the first need, but I'm not really looking at need in the draft. To me, it's about adding more talent.
He won the McDonald's All-American three-point contest, 80% free throw percentage, 80 to 86%.
That's good.
But it just sounds like at least the read on him is that this is a smart player who has a huge motor, but ultimately may be done in a little bit by genetics in the sense that he's not a facilitator. He's more of a scorer. He doesn't really contribute much outside of scoring, but that's a huge strength. Now that could translate to, look, hey man, if you're
what's Malik's size officially listed?
I think it's 6'3", 6'3", or 6'3",
so we're talking the same size.
Yes.
And Malik's figured out, and Malik's got incredible athletic ability though, and has the ability to get into spaces to dunk.
6'3".
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we're talking the same
jump out of the gym athleticism, and also able, but the Malik really showed us last year too. He can distribute the ball.
Yeah, he's a great playmaker, but I feel like he's a 2 by in true character.
Yeah.
But his decision making and playmaking was really good.
It was, and it's again we're spiraling here, but it's another reason why I really would be excited to see a Fox Monk backcourt. And yes, I'm not going to lie. Part of it's the synergy of them playing in the backcourt at Kentucky and being very successful there. And I know I think the issue there is that if you went Fox and Monk in the backcourt, you're going to lose a little bit defensively. But that's where if you could augment that and pull your defense up a little bit with Keegan there as an anchor, and then add in a 4 or a 3 if you push Keegan down. And that's where like a Mikal Bridges come in. Like if you were able to somehow get Mikal Bridges and still keep those guys, I know, right? Like not likely. But that type of player, which don't grow on trees, well, then all of a sudden you can have a Fox Monk backcourt.
Right.
And as you and I talked about a couple of days ago, when we talk about defensive player of the year, it's actually really silly that a guy like the guy that leads the league in steals should like almost automatically be an all-NBA first or second defensive team. Because I can tell you this much, almost always the guy that leads the league in blocks will almost always be first team, if not second team. And I've said this many, many times. Give me a steal over a block any day of the week. Blocks are fun to watch. They're fun to watch, but 90% of all blocks go in the stands, out of bounds. A steal is literally
the other team.
A steal is literally a turnover.
Yeah.
You have stolen possession from the other player. Now you could argue blocks and stuff like that. Well, it's the not blocks. How many shots does Rudy Gobert alter because of his long range, even though it doesn't show up as a block? Whereas, I don't know that De'Aaron's altering shots because of his stealing ability. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So. All right, we will we'll take a break when we and I got to think we're going to have a lot of this figured out by I would say probably Memorial Day, Jason, most likely. A lot like our friends at Hoblet have their Memorial Day sale going on